Next week, from August 31st to September 4th. Picture this terrifying scenario. Sonny is kicking down a heavy wooden door. He is frantic. He is desperate. He is sweating bullets. He promised to protect her. He swore to the heavens that nothing bad would ever happen on his watch. But as he steps into the dimly lit room, the blood completely freezes in his veins. Laura is lying on the cold, unforgiving floor. Unmoving. Silent. Cold. Dead. Guys, this is not a drill. We are talking about the absolute unthinkable happening right before our eyes. Sonny is staring at the lifeless body of one of the most beloved and protected people in this entire city. The invincible mob boss drops to his knees, his world completely shattered. How did we get here? How did everything spiral so violently out of control? To understand this absolute nightmare, we have to rewind the clock. We have to look at the dominoes falling across town, one by one. Because right now, nobody actually knows who is pulling the string. It all starts in a sterile, high-stakes corporate boardroom. Jocelyn is sitting at the head of the table, occupying the ultimate power seat. She was handed the keys to her father's massive corporate empire. Everyone in that room expected her to walk away. Everyone thought she would fold under the pressure and immediately hand the chief executive title over to Hudson. But that is not happening. Jocelyn is playing a highly dangerous psychological game of chess. She is faking her hesitation. She is pretending to be unsure and overwhelmed by the responsibility. Why? Because she wants to see Hudson sweat. She wants to peel back his polished exterior and figure out his real endgame. Hudson is pushing her incredibly hard. He is applying immense suffocating pressure, demanding she step down. If you ask me, Hudson is hiding something massive. He is not just here for a simple corporate takeover or a payday. He is here for blood. He has a hidden agenda, and Jocelyn is standing right in his crosshair. But wait, it gets worse. Carly is no fool. A mother always knows when her child is being hunted. Carly feels the invisible eyes watching Jocelyn from the shadows. She sees the subtle movements, the strange cars parked outside, the lingering stares. Carly begins to panic. She remembers the agonizing, soul-crushing pain of losing a child. The trauma of losing Morgan still haunts her every single waking moment. She absolutely cannot lose another child. So, what does she do? She runs straight to Valentine. Yes, Valentine. The dangerous, calculating man she secretly hid in her attic for months. The man with all the dark, underground connections. Carly desperately begs Valentine to use his shadowy network to investigate Hudson and the invisible forces stalking Jocelyn. Valentine agrees to help the woman he loves. But by digging into Hudson's mysterious past, Valentine might accidentally trigger a massive trap that was meant for someone else entirely. Here is where things get incredibly messy. Across town, Trina and Kai are feeling the exact same suffocating paranoia. They are being watched. Someone is stalking them from the dark alleyways and empty parking lots. But Trina is not the type of girl to just sit back and wait to become a victim. She wants answers. She demands to know who is hunting her. Kai, fiercely protective, agrees to help her hunt down their stalker. They start digging through the dirt. They start following the tiny hidden breadcrumb. But they have absolutely no idea that the stalker is actually baiting them. The stalker wants them to get close. The stalker is orchestrating a master illusion, a brilliant magic trick designed to distract everyone. And the ultimate target of this dark illusion is not Trina. It is not even Kai. Guys, this is where it gets incredibly interesting. The stalker is meticulously planting a trail of fake, undeniable evidence, and all of it points directly to Willow. Yes, Willow. She just barely survived a massive framing plot orchestrated by Brooke. She barely escaped being locked up in a prison cell for a hit and run she did not commit. Now, a brand new, terrifying nightmare is unfolding around her. The stalker is placing clues that make Willow look like a violent, unhinged, and dangerous criminal. Willow has absolutely no idea what is coming for her. She thinks she is finally safe. She thinks the worst is finally behind her and she can focus on her family. But a massive storm is brewing, and she is standing directly on the center of the target, completely blind to the sniper taking aim. And then everything spiraled out of control. Kai gets a little too close to the truth. He uncovers a piece of the puzzle he was never meant to see. The stalker strikes with brutal force. Kai is viciously attacked in the dark. He is left bleeding. He is left broken and unconscious on the concrete. And guess what happens next? The police arrive at the bloody scene. They find the planted evidence. They follow the fabricated trail. And it leads straight to Willow's front door. Willow is suddenly the prime suspect in a vicious attempted murder. She is dragged out of her home and thrown into a cold interrogation room. She is fighting for her life, desperately trying to prove her innocence once again. But the evidence is absolutely flawless. The real culprit is walking free in the shadows, watching with a twisted smile as Willow takes the fall. Willow is completely cornered, forced to defend herself against a ghost while her life crumbles to ashes. But that is not even the biggest surprise of the week. While Willow is fighting for her freedom, Drew is plotting his own dark revenge. Drew is rapidly regaining his strength. He is moving his limb. He is planning his next strike. And he teams up with Ava. If you ask me, this is the most lethal, unpredictable duo we have seen in a very long time. Ava and Drew have one mutual target, Jack. They know Jack is holding all the winning cards. They know Jack is a massive existential threat to their freedom. But they are not going to use poison this time. They are not going to drug his drink or hire an assassin. They are going to use pure, unadulterated, psychological manipulation to break him down. Ava perfectly sets the stage. She is the absolute master of distraction and seduction. She approaches Jack with a dangerous glint in her eye. She uses her charm, her sharp wit, and her cunning ability to twist any situation to her advantage. Ava creates a fabricated, urgent crisis. She tells Jack exactly what his paranoid mind wants to hear. She lures him out of his secure, heavily guarded room. She pulls him away from his hidden secrets. It is a flawless, Oscar-worthy performance. Ava smiles, keeping Jack completely occupied with her lies. Meanwhile, Drew slips into the shadows like a ghost. Drew sneaks into Jack's room, desperately tearing through his belongings, searching for the missing black box. He is looking for the ultimate leverage to destroy Jack once and for all. What happened next may be even worse. Drew thinks he is winning. He thinks he is outsmarting a master spy. But Jack is no amateur. Jack is a seasoned, ruthless operative who has survived worse than them. Do you really think Jack would just leave his deepest secrets unguarded? Absolutely not. Jack knew Ava was playing him from the very first second she opened her mouth. Jack willingly let himself be distracted. Jack wanted Drew to break into that room. Drew is not finding secrets in the dark. Drew is walking directly into a steel, inescapable trap. Jack is waiting for the perfect moment to snap the jaws shut and crush his enemies. Drew's entire life is about to shatter into a million unfixable pieces. Let us shift gears for a moment, because things are getting just as crazy behind bars. Behind the cold iron bars of Pentonville, a different kind of war is brewing. Curtis is trapped. He is locked in a miserable cage, desperate to get back to Portia and his beautiful newborn son. He is vulnerable, angry, and losing hope. And that is exactly when Jens steps out of the shadows. Jens is currently locked up, but his dark power reaches far beyond those prison walls. Jens looks at Curtis and sees a golden opportunity. Jens does not threaten Curtis with violence. He does not use physical intimidation. He uses something far more dangerous and effective. He uses hope. Jens slides a dark proposition across the metaphorical table. An offer that sounds entirely too good to be true. Jens promises to protect Curtis from the dangers of the prison yard. He promises to pull his invisible strings and get Curtis out of Pentonville early. He promises that Curtis will be holding his baby boy before the month is even over. But there is a catch. There is always a deadly catch when you deal with Jens. Jens wants a massive favor on the outside. He wants Curtis to deliver something highly illegal. Something Curtis would never normally agree to. Something that goes against every moral fiber in his body and risks his entire future. Curtis is staring directly at the devil. He knows Jens is playing a wicked game with him. He knows that accepting this deal means selling his soul to a monster. But Curtis thinks about Portia crying at home. He thinks about his son growing up without a father to protect him. Curtis makes a choice. A terrible, desperate, heartbreaking choice. He shakes hands with Jens. Curtis secures his short-term survival, but he just chained himself to a psychopath. Curtis is now heavily indebted to one of the most ruthless men in existence. And guys, Jens always collects his debts, usually in blood. And that changes absolutely everything. Back on the outside, Sonny is feeling the tremors in the streets. Sonny is a seasoned boss. He senses when the criminal underworld shifts its weight. He looks at Hudson, aggressively pressuring Jocelyn. He hears the dark whispers about Jens making power moves from inside Pentonville. He sees the violent chaos surrounding Trina, Kai, and Willow. Sonny connects the terrifying dots. This is not a coincidence. These are not isolated, random incidents. A brand new terrifying syndicate is forming right under their noses. A massive, invisible web of power is wrapping around the city, choking the life out of it. Hudson, Jens, the violent stalker, they are all working together for the exact same end game. Sonny realizes he has to act immediately. He remembers his solemn promise to Laura. He swore on his life that he would protect her. He swore he would keep her loved ones safe from the darkness. Sonny mobilizes his people. He arms his guards. He prepares for a massive bloody war. He decides he cannot just stand on the sidelines and watch his city burn anymore. He has to strike first before this invisible enemy takes everything he loves away from him. But Sonny is looking in the wrong direction. He is preparing for a massive frontal assault while the enemy is already quietly slipping through the back door with a loaded gun. Laura is completely unaware of the impending doom closing in on. She is just trying to hold her fractured family together. She decides to take a quiet trip. She goes to visit Kevin. A simple, innocent, loving visit to see her husband and bring him some comfort. But as she arrives, the facility is quiet. Entirely too quiet. The guards are nowhere to be found. The security cameras are disabled. Their red lights dark. Laura walks down the sterile, echoing hallway. She feels a chill run down her spine. She hears a sudden noise behind her. She turns around. The ambush is swift. It is brutal. It is completely merciless. Sonny gets the frantic call, a terrifying tip from a terrified informant. He slams his foot on the gas pedal, the engine roaring. He races through the dark streets, breaking every single law, praying to a God he barely believes in that he is not too late. He kicks down the heavy door of the facility. His gun is drawn. His eyes are wild. He is ready to kill anyone in his path. But the halls are completely empty. He follows the terrifying trail of destruction. And then he sees her, Laura, lying on the cold, hard floor. No pulse. No breath. Sonny drops to his knees, his gun clattering to the ground. The invincible mob boss is completely broken. He failed. The enemy won, and the cost was unimaginable. But wait, there is one final mind-bending piece to this horrific puzzle. If Hudson, Jens, and the violent stalker are all connected, who is actually giving the orders? Who ordered the fatal hit on Laura? Who is pulling the strings on Jack from the shadows? Guys, the truth is about to rip this entire city apart at the seam. The people we thought were the dangerous hunters are actually the helpless prey. A ghost is walking the streets of Port Charles, and they will not stop until everyone is dead and buried. One massive, world-shattering secret is about to explode, and absolutely nobody is safe. You cannot miss what happens next.
Goodbye. Please like, subscribe, and comment on the GH Spoilers Daily channel.